In this video, we're going to learn some really interesting, useful phrases from The Office. We're going to look at a short clip, and even from a short clip, there is a lot that we can learn. Make sure you're ready to use what you learn in your own examples. That's a great way to remember what you learned so that you can use it in your daily life. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Now, let's get into the video. We're going to take a look at a clip from The Office and learn a few interesting words and phrases. We need to pay attention to these in context. Once you get a feeling for how they're used, you should be able to use them yourself. So let's get right into it. And again, listen for things you're not familiar with and pay attention to where and how they're used.
Are you swallowing them whole? You're eating them so fast, are they even touching your tongue?
Yeah.
Why aren't you having any, Angela?
Oh, I ate so many already when no one was looking.
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's start with that one. Yeah, right. When someone says, yeah, right, it means either they actually don't believe it, they don't believe what you just said, right? Or perhaps it means, I'm just going to center that on myself, perhaps it means what you said is not true, right? It's a way to negate something, to go against something, right? Somebody tells you that they're going to run a marathon tomorrow. You know that they're not in very good shape, and you say, yeah, right. To say, I don't believe you. Now, does he not believe Angela in this case? Right? Yeah, of course, she was joking. He might not be smart enough to know that she was kind of not being sincere, right? But what she just said goes against his beliefs, goes against what he knows to be true. And so he's saying, well, of course, that's not true. Yeah, right. It's a kind of sarcastic way of saying it, but it is really, really common. Let's go back just a few seconds and listen to that again.
Already when no one was looking.
Yeah, right.
You see how he's reacting, right? It's kind of a strong reaction. He's laughing. It's got that sort of sarcastic, feeling to it. Okay.
My baby's dieting. She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day.
Why do those exist?
Our big day? What the heck is a big day? What is a big day? Our big day. She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day. Well, you heard there, gown, wedding gown. Big day must be the wedding. So often a wedding is referred to as our big day. Sometimes we use big day for other things. Today's your big day. You're getting a promotion. Today's your big day. You are going to some hearing to maybe have some big decision made in your life, right? This is my big day. So sometimes it is used to talk about other things, but if there's no context, almost always it is used to talk about a wedding. And if you hear our in front of it, it's almost always going to be about a wedding, right? Again, it could be other very big important things in your life. Someone could say, they're adopting a child, a couple is adopting a child, and they're going to go actually pick up the child from, I don't know, where do you get a child when you adopt a child? I don't know. An orphanage? I don't know how that works. I just realized I don't know how that works. Right? But you could say it's our big day. We're going to go pick up our, this sounds weird when I say it, pick up our child. Anyway, yeah, usually about weddings. Let's listen to that really quickly again.
She wants to fit into a special child-sized wedding gown for our big day.
Why do those exist?
Why do those exist? That's a good question. Jim says, why do those exist? As though, why would anyone want to make a child-sized wedding gown? That is very, very bizarre. Okay.
It's from my pageant days. I was Miss Tiny Mid-Atlantic Bride when I was 10. Probably heard of it.
Brownies, is that?
brownies is it? Not a common expression. Dwight's kind of a weird character, right? But when you're sort of noticing what's going on, oh, brownies is it? Maybe.
Pastry cubes made of sugar and fat? No, thank you. I'll stick with my jerky.
So why'd you come in here?
Stick with my jerky means I will, this is mine, this is the thing I'm not going to give up, right? I'll stick with my whatever is I'm going to continue doing what I'm currently doing, and I'm not going to change and do what everyone else is doing.
Socialize and inform.
Ooh, brownies! I'm taking 2 so I can parcel them up and eat them at my leisure later on.
Okay, parcel them up. To parcel something up is to put it into different pieces or sometimes different containers, right? Make it a little bit smaller. To parcel something up is to divide it in some way, usually for later use, right? So I'm going to parcel these up and share them with friends. Maybe you get a lot of something, and so you parcel them up or you divide them up in some way. It's often used to talk about food, but not always. Often used to talk about food. And in this case, he's going to do this with the brownies. But then he says, did you hear what he said? I'm going to eat them at my leisure. So eat them at your leisure or do something at your leisure means when you have time, when you feel like it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you enjoy it, right? Give me a call back at your leisure. It's more like saying whenever you want to, whenever you have time. Do it at your leisure. It's sort of like saying when you're free, when you're available, or when you want to. So imagine he's got some brownies there. He might break off some pieces. And when he feels a little hungry or he wants a little pick-me-up, he might grab a piece of the brownie and have a little snack. At his leisure. Let's rewatch that part again.
So I can parcel them up. I'm taking 2 so I can parcel them up and eat them at my leisure later on. Much healthier.
Eat them at my leisure later on. It sounds a little formal when he says it. A little weird, but anyway, that's what he says.
You taking 2?
Yeah,
Taking 2?
but one of them is for Toby.
Yeah. Why don't you send that to him in Costa Rica?
I'm just gonna hand it to him right now.
Okay, weirdo.
Why is that weird?
She said she's gonna give it to him right now.
Just for context, if you haven't seen this show, he hates Toby with a burning passion. He hates Toby. And Toby left, and now Toby's back.
She's probably going to because they sit next to each other.
Yeah, they used to.
They probably sit next to each other. Yeah, they used to because Toby left. So Michael Scott does not know that Toby has returned.
Toby works here again.
Oh, can you imagine?
Okay, so can you imagine? This is a great expression. He's reacting to what Jim is saying. He still doesn't believe that Toby is back. Toby has returned. He hates Toby more than anything in the world. For some reason, he thinks he's boring. He does not like Toby. Toby's from, I think, HR. And so Jim is telling him that Toby's back, and Michael Scott still does not believe him. So he says, can you imagine? It's either a statement of disbelief or to add a little bit of extra oomph or emphasis to something that is kind of ridiculous or difficult to believe, right? Can you imagine? It's more of a reaction phrase that we will use when we hear something that we don't think is true, and it may or may not be true, but we don't think it's true. Yeah, can you imagine? So here it's kind of a statement of disbelief. He doesn't believe what Jim is saying, but if it were true, it wouldn't be good, right? He's basically saying, oh, that would be terrible if that were true.
Oh no. Toby works here again. Toby works here again.
Oh, can you imagine?
Oh no. You don't know.
He doesn't know yet that Toby's back.
I don't know.
All right. Let's keep going.
What?
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look, see if he's...
Probably just meander back there. Meander back there? What does he say?
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look, see if he's...
Meander back there. So if you hear meander, this usually is used to talk about not directly, not quickly going back. It's sort of a slow and casual going somewhere, right? It's often indirect, right? There's no urgency around going there immediately, and it doesn't have to be straight there. You might stop off and have a little piece of brownie and then go there. It's not saying you should do that. It's just a very relaxed sounding word that means there's no rush and you're not going to a specific place exactly, right? And you don't have to take a specific path. So just meander back there. I really like that word. I think that's a nice word. What is back there? That's where Toby used to sit, and actually where he still is, where he still sits. But Michael Scott still doesn't believe it. Let's listen to that again.
You should probably just meander back there. Take a look. See if
Just meander back there. Take a look.
see if he's back. Dare I?
See if he's back. Then he says, "Dare I? Dare I?" Kind of in a joking way.
Back there. Take a look. See if he's back.
Dare I? You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
Okay, let's watch that one more time here. We got one more we want to talk about.
You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
For old time's sake. So what is he saying there? For old time's sake. If you do something for old time's sake, that means you used to do it before, or you regularly did it before, and you're going to do it again or remember it again because you like to do that, or it's nostalgic for you. That's how it's usually used, right? So maybe you used to go to a cafe all the time when you were in college. You find yourself in the town where you went to college 10 years later, right? And you say, you know what? I'm going to stop by that cafe just for old time's sake. You have no other reason to go other than because you used to spend a lot of time there. You haven't been there in 10 years, and it would be nice to, for the sake of nostalgia, check it out, see if it's changed, get a cup of coffee, right? Sit in the seat where you used to always study for old time's sake. So what's the reason for old time's sake? Is for nostalgia, is to reflect on the past, is to do it because it was a thing before. Now, in this case, he's feeling still happy because he thinks that Toby is not back. So when he goes back, he's doing it for old time's sake, actually because he knows he's not there. In fact, he is there. He knows he's not there, but he used to go back there and be angry because Toby was there, okay? So it's kind of complicated in this case, but let's review that part one more time.
You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
Again, he's still being very jokey, disbelieving, right? He says, "Can you imagine?" because he doesn't believe it. He's saying, here, let's just watch this whole section together. It's more to get the big picture here.
Dare I?
Again,
Take a
very
look.
jokey. The dare I.
See if he's back.
Dare I? You know what? I'm going to. For old time's sake.
Okay. Now he goes back.
Great practical joke, Jim. Got me.
Okay, what does he say? That's Toby, by the way, behind him. Great practical joke, Jim. A practical joke is like a prank. He goes back there for old time's sake. He does not see Toby. And so now he's thinking, okay, Jim was joking with me. Jim was trolling me. Jim made a practical joke, or it's a little prank on me. Okay, so, but that makes him happy because he doesn't want it to be true. He's in denial, right?
Go to the annex.
That's the perfect face. Oops.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
All right, anyway, so we talked about yeah, right as a reaction, disbelief. We talked about our big day or her big day or his big day usually are referring to a wedding. We talked about parceling something up, dividing it up, sharing it usually, or having it for yourself at different times, eating something at your leisure, doing anything at your leisure. We talked about can you imagine as a way to show disbelief or to express a feeling of this can't be true, right? We talked about meander, meander back there, meander over there, meander into the kitchen. And then we said, for old time's sake, as a reason to do something often connected with nostalgia. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Again, The Office is a great choice for, I think, for learning English and practicing words and phrases. So maybe start watching The Office if you haven't done so already. It is a really good show. It is a classic. And again, if you come across words and phrases you're not sure about, pop those in the comments or join the Discord and ask and share interesting expressions you come across there. Also, if you haven't already done so, you can check out my full course, Natural English Conversations. That is in the links in the description.